Hi, I'm Liza Bemis.
I'm Brian Kramer.
And we are the co-managers of Hutchins Farm in Concord, Massachusetts. Hutchins Farm is an organic fruit and vegetable farm. We're located in Concord, Massachusetts. The main farm is about 60 acres. We grow all different types of organic vegetables, and we also grow organic apples, organic blueberries, and organic strawberries. We have a seasonal farm stand that's operational from June through October, and we do 3 weekly farmers markets closer to Boston. The main farm property has been in my family for 5 generations. We were originally a dairy farm. We became a fruit and vegetable farm in the early 70s, and we've been certified organic as a pilot program since starting in 1986, and we have been USDA certified since the beginning of that program, which is about 2000. And we continue this day. The real benefits of having a farm in your community is you're able to really see what growing in New England looks like. You're able to see the whole season change. Just literally, you can come here, you can look out the window, you can watch, really watch all of nature change over the course of the season. You see what comes into the farm stand, how that changes from strawberries in June to apples in the fall. You can really see also how the weather and climate is affecting the growing conditions. We joke that our customers are very forgiving of us, but they also are very understanding that they're able to see directly what's going on and how that directly affects the produce that they're eating. If we are having a drought, that is going to affect the size of the lettuce head, and when we're able to really have a strong correlation for folks to really see how the weather, how climate change, how everything is impacting directly their food supply.
I also think that our success is kind of like a reflection of the community's overall commitment to maintaining open space and local agriculture, which has obviously a long history. The fate or the trajectory of other nearby towns as they become more and more developed and lose a lot of their traditional agricultural feel and landscape kind of reinvigorates that motive in the community. This farm has been here 50 years. It's really important for us, even though we have this long kind of history and persistence and visibility in town, we don't do a lot of marketing of ourselves or advertising or PR. So in some sense, we consider farmers markets in general a good way to do PR, to get our name out there and to kind of educate people about where they can find us and what we do and what they can expect if they visit us. So this is kind of the beginning of a process that gets its own momentum. And so it's kind of, we enter this period with a certain amount of trepidation because we know that there's kind of no rest going forward. Things get their, things kind of take on a life of their own, and we're just kind of nudging things along in the direction that we're going. Ultimately, we begin to see things start to come out of the ground. The earliest stuff, the asparagus and the rhubarb, we get stuff planted that begins to mature. The longer term stuff goes in, the warm season stuff gets planted, and ultimately it's all working towards kind of a crescendo of activity and of harvest in September and October, what people typically think of the harvest season. And the way that we mark that here in Concord is we have a one-time-a-year farmers market in downtown Concord that we call Ag Day. Have been doing it for probably 15 years, 16 years. It's a wonderful tradition, and it really marks the high point of locally available produce. It kind of runs the gamut of everything from the summer stuff, the zucchinis and the cucumbers and the tomatoes, and the fall stuff, the winter squash and the potatoes and the sweet potatoes and so forth. There's a few MIAs like asparagus and peas will not be found, but those are special cases. It's March, so this is kind of the end of what is our off season. Meaning that we've gotten a start in the greenhouse at this point, and we are looking towards getting stuff in the field, and we're also starting to see some of the perennial fruit buds swell, and thinking about what needs to be done to those. This is the time of the year that we usually prune blueberries. It's actually a great time. You could prune them earlier, but this is a good time because you can see the fruit buds beginning to swell, so that for neophytes and greenhorns who are training how to prune, it's a lot easier to demonstrate what is a future blueberry and what is just wood that needs to be taken out.
I'm David Rice from Hutchins Farm here in Concord, Massachusetts. We're pruning blueberry bushes today. Our primary objective is to open the bushes up to get better air circulation and sunlight in, reducing disease and insect pressure is the hope. We're also trying to promote new growth in the bushes, and these are canes that come out of the ground in the bush, and blueberries produce their best fruit on 2 to maybe 5 or 6 year old wood. So we have to remove some of the older canes every year and let sunlight and air in to promote the new canes. So those are our primary objectives. Oftentimes we will cut an older cane. The older canes, you can see, are very dark and rough bark, where newer canes are red or orangey, and they produce the best fruit. Oftentimes we have to cut back an older cane to new growth. So we'll cut the old growth out and leave new, nice red colored shoots. This is out in the aisle. We don't want to try to be growing fruit out in the walk aisle, in the drive aisle. When we're mowing, we don't want to knock the berries off. So we want to thin them up. They get very dense in the middles. We want the center more open. So we'll take some of these side shoots off. And then we'll look to make a few more thinning cuts. Here's an example. We can take this older cane right out. There's new growth coming here. I like it. Take the lower stuff out. It won't get a lot of sunlight. But we do want to remember to promote the new canes. So we don't want to cut those right out. I know some people think they're weak or sucker growth and they'll cut them out, but those are your future production canes. So that's where your fruit's going to come from 3 or 4 years from now. This one's crossing back onto that one that we just chose to keep. This is a little bit of a fork or a V. We'll cut it back to 1. This is old growth up in here. A lot of dead little twigs. So we can look back down. We've got a nice new shoot coming off. So rather than take the whole cane, we'll take the old growth off the top of it and let sunlight into the plant. Cut some dead wood out. Look at the top again here. We've got a nice shoot there. Take some dead stuff out of the middle. Take some little side shoots. There'll be poor quality fruit in the interior of the plant. Won't get as much sun or air. Berries will be smaller and drier. Get that one. Open up the center of the plant. There, I think we're pretty good. It should get much better sunlight and air, and hopefully result in some nice quality blueberries.